think that's like the craziest of names. What's your IGN? 123. All right, that's a lot of aura at the same time. I don't think that's like search engine optimized. But going back onto the Mongols history lesson, this is a team that's definitely incredibly unorthodox. If you look at the way they play, it is pretty much unlike any other team. They are incredibly forward-facing, but they're so incredibly paced. It's an incredible grind out when you watch the Mongols play.
Yeah, maybe.
Go, go, go.
It's definitely a bold composition. You got the double duelist versus double sentinel, but for now, it's gonna be some of the sentinels and the initiators, especially with Nexi on that ISO closer by onto this A site.
Oh, well, Oblivion Force, they're definitely trying to break their way into it, but they see the shear and it's already given enough info of Mongols. But again, look at Mongols, they're still refusing to rotate. They are a very headstrong team, and again, they can look incredibly static at times just because of that inherent play style of their region. Genghis Warriors was also like this, and if I'm not mistaken, Bind's not even in the map pool, right?
No, I haven't seen it in the longest time. I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but for now, it's just gonna be the flash into a peak, some info found, and OF to trail off. Okay, 119 will find a kill.
Just to continue my point, Bind is a map that you should definitely prio ban against any of the Mongolian teams, because their mastery of that map is unlike any other, at least in our tier 2 scene. Oblivion Force, though, they will be working without Hippo. They're gonna try and walk their way towards B, but there's still 119 in the wings.
Still hiding, still jiggling. Nobody nearby. He doesn't turn away with the fake TP. Even finds the 3 kills. Nexi for the last one. Mongols to pick up the pistol.
Oh, Oblivion Force. I mean, once again, this is a team we're still waiting to make a splash. Like you said, they have made some considerable dents onto their ascension efforts. I also really like the fact that, like, we're always getting these new teams and whatnot, but Oblivion Force, they're looking to run the same action again. Maybe they're going for some sort of conditioning here, Quack.
Go, go, go!
Oh, and a bit of a mess early on, but surprised Oblivion Force come out of that one unscathed. Nexi looking to be the break wall. Supporting is 1, 2, 3, but the classics too much to handle. 1-1 for now, but as the chip damage piles on, Oblivion Force are at a definite disadvantage, especially with MN Fear scoping down towards Ali. Now MN Fear
30 seconds left.
will chime in for one. This slow burn, as we talked about in the pre-show, is very much in full effect. Granted, this is the anti-eco round.
Yeah, and also finding a lot of information. Oh, 15 seconds left. Apologies, just now getting reconnected. And it's just Sky is Blue, able to hold down the angle, knowing exactly where his opponents are.
One player standing.
Spike might be planted, so it's decent money, but nonetheless, it's minimal damage sustained on the side of Mongols.
That's ideal for, you know, anti-ecos. Once again, we talk about scalability a lot. A lot of players would either want to retain the weapons they brought into that round so they can have a bit of a heftier challenge moving into the bonus, or just in general to build a little bit more economy. I do, or rather I have seen some teams take on the philosophy of let's just upgrade and try and get that third round. Although this has been a hot topic for a lot of the teams. They're like, no.
Let's go.
Some players are or rather some teams are adamant against it. Some are going with this new trend. What do you think, man?
I think it depends on the teams and what they're trying to run. So I'm gonna deflect that question right back.
How
It's gonna
dare.
at least right now for Mongols to look to play around their rifles and the range that they have. So 2-2 stack up all split across middle. And they will peek out. Whoa.
Here. Oh man, again, Mongols is that type of team where they just try to go for that slow sweep everywhere. Where they just move as a unit.
Wow. Yeah, no, it's like an uncommon strategy. I hardly see teams do this, but the fact that they get that one pick thanks to the fact that you have an ISO and then to trail off, it really forces OF to think.
That's true. And you know, when you force the opposing team to rather get them in that mindset where they're more prone to overthinking, it's always a happy time. Sometimes you don't even have to do anything. And now suddenly this ISO is on that A site. We're down to the last 30 seconds of the round again. Oblivion Force have to make a desperate attack here.
Trying. It is desperate for sure as they look for their opponents to shoot, but Mongols have those trade protocols in ready. So 3 players left alive. That's still decent economy beginning to build up.
Indeed it is, and unorthodox Mongols is. The only like qualm I had with their playstyle was that they'd really give up a lot of presence everywhere else on the map just so they can pivot off that selected POI. But hey, they've won 3 rounds in a row. And to quote Quack, that's why we're casting. I mean...
Who are we to judge? But we will say though, I mean, these 2 compositions are like heavy opposites. On you got the 2 duelists on the one side for OF, and right now with the bucket hand for Utah, he's trying his darndest to find any possible hit. Mongols now recognizing that that could be some kind of a surprise play, like something cheeky like the shotgun. Playing it safe, so slow creeps around, find the angles and the shots. 1, 2, 3. Well, 1, 2, 3. 3 kills. Hey.
I'm out of here.
Hey, perfect for the name. Now, worst case scenario for Utah is that he runs into the ISO with the shield on with a bucket. That these things shouldn't take a toll on you mentally, but they do. And with the last 2 members alive, actually Utah picking up an extra one. But yeah, like you said, these comps, they vastly go against each other. One is a slow burn, the other is a tempo comp. But so far, it's been Mongols really holding this in a vice grip. Vice.
They do have vice. I think they get to do that. They just have so much anchor / stall potential, as well as, you know, info gathering tools on the cipher, and they're able to block off even more, especially with the Astra placing her stars around middle, a little bit around Art possibly as well. This time they've left it somewhat open, but they've also elected for the push alongside the drone into A main. Once again, this is a very strong retake spot. OF, you know, they got to pick up the pace. You got these 2 duelists.
Oh boy. And with that being said, it's Rhea to lead the charge, finding 1, 2, 3. Armageddon out of the way, but they get pushed back by the undercut.
Go, go, go.
Once again, we're back at 0. We're back in the neutral game. Mongols very happy to have this reset given to them.
Yeah, they still have numbers around that A side. They're not going to take A main though, so it still is a possible scenario for OF, especially with Rhea collecting information, line sights at the ready. Sky is blue, recognizing that fact though, so he's able to receive Utah. Keep out a trade.
Oh boy. Next, he does have kill contract, but opts not to use it. Doesn't really need to, but it is a clean 2v2 now given
left.
to Oblivion
Spike
Force.
planted.
No post-plant utility aside from Chime, but Chime is so deep
Last
into the
player
site.
standing. 1 enemy remaining.
Oh no. 119?
Oh, come on, dude.
How? Well, timing was just not on the side of 119 there. Both times he looks and lets go of his angle. Gets obliterated by Chime.
That's a little bit of overthinking, maybe.
He
You know,
saw
he
it,
kind of
though.
had it. Yeah, exactly. So he kind of just went in for it, but I don't know. Again, it's one of these situations, right? You're feeling pressure from the 1v1,
One enemy.
and it just goes down to it. She may having that aura to hold the angle against his opponent. You know, that's what it is. So
True.
1-on-4, you still have these ults online though.
Aren't they doing? Not Rolling Thunder, sorry. Armageddon still very much available for 1-2-3. Chimmy's not too far from it. And maybe they're gonna use it, but wow, an aggressive play here.
On both ends, Suga able to react in kind. 1-2-3 to find the trades, and that favors Mongols heavily.
He's already building up towards his next Armageddon here. Potentially could be a freebie of an orb, but Anson and the rest of Oblivion Force, they are holding strong here.
Right, 1-2-3 with the angles. 2 kills, 2 bursts. A lot of numbers.
Yes. The math is currently going into the way of Mongols, and this has been historically a pretty mechanical team as well, which
Spike down.
has led to some of those unfavorable duels being taken, because when you have the hot hand, you feel like you could take on the world, right? But it is to the dismay of your analyst and your coach sometimes. But hey, everything has a reason. There's really not one play that's considered universally bad.
Go, go, go.
Everything is balanced as it should be. Well, Oblivion Force right now, a little bit unbalanced. They are somewhat lopsided in their attempts at
Spike down
attacking.
mid.
Trying to break down mid this time, but with some pushes out Mongol, some information gained. Rhea, though, wallbang shots against 1-2-3.
Great heads up play there by Rhea. I doubt that they're going to try and contest for that Vandal, right? But if they know Mongols have vacated that area, they could try and get it. I think they already have it. Mongols readjusting, still not willing
I'm
to
outta here.
let go of the water position here, the sewer position. Oblivion Force, they're slowly making their way towards B. MNP are all alone.
Okay, so I mean, you're up against pistols. There might be one rifle, so still a good chance to find the potential wall bang. Runs out of ammo, but thankfully 119 is
Down,
nearby. Whole thing engulfed in smokes, but we're still able to shoot back. Rhea shooting back as well. Here comes the Gulag. Nexi bides his time, takes down Anson. Steel Guarded ripped, but instantly shut down. It's just Rhea here, and he might have the weapon, but he can't quite crack the shield all by himself. Mongols with the retake protocols right here in round 7.
Nexi did have that one extra plate. Especially coming fresh from the Gulag, fighting his way. Actually, no, he was the Warden too, so really I'm just enforcing his will. Now Mongol 6-1. This map has gone by very quickly. I just have to ask, is this comp really giving that much of a problem to OS? I mean, obviously,
Defense?
right?
I think so.
Right?
On the attack, I wonder.
Because on the attack, you have all these shields, right? All these, like, figurative brick walls. How are you supposed to mobilize it? Well, there's been an exchange towards mid, and look at Mongols again. They're looking to stand their ground.
Perhaps the intention is to
Want to fight it?
bully their way through and to engineer and advance in that fashion. You know, you've got the ISO, you've got teammates all around you just to take down a lot of space through sheer numbers. Because that's been working for Mongols in the retake currently. Right now, once again, Rhea leading the charge. Maybe the spike down. But the trips have been trapped, and Mongols have an idea of where their opponents are. With that, then the peaks come out, but Rhea and Anson to hold. 119 to strike back, but unfortunately traded right back. Oblivion Force find themselves with the second round picked up.
Beautiful stuff here by Oblivion Force to get themselves going and hopefully cut down into that lead. But I do have to say, Mongols have been that much more confident in their set play, even on the defense, you know, with the way that they've been sweeping through arts and with some of those executes coming from mid. And normally I wouldn't highlight these things, but Mongols are defending. They shouldn't be the ones enforcing their will on this map. It should be them trying to be a bit more reactive, but hey, it's been proactive more than anything else.
Very much, and you know, the correctness really helped them. Some information on their side. Oblivion Force trying to get active as well. Guy is blue. He's got some traps. That's more information now.
Garden still there too. I mean, that could be the extra insurance just to win out this round. But once again, Mongols so sure of themselves moving through the map, and I think they boxed in Oblivion Force here.
Little bit, but somehow missing the shots. It's gonna be a couple of players that will fall. 1, 2, 3 to kind of punish, but it's even odds now. Oblivion Force still has an option to pick a site and truly overwhelm it. But, you know, I think that's the main thing that Oblivion Force is kind of lacking right now, is the lack of like breach or something.
30 seconds left.
Kind of
go for it.
Soften up the site before the duelists go in. Chime is attempting that right now.
Like you said, there may be too many layers to peel away, and right now it's
Spike down A.
suffocating
One
again for
enemy
Oblivion
remaining.
Force. Sky is blue, bringing
10 seconds
down
left.
a lot. I mean, a lot of shots. Right? Rhea survives, but again, there's just not enough time.
Yeah, he might be able to get away, but that is it. You keep that rifle, and he has been the one star shining factor for Oblivion Force, but the rest of it all is just kind of lackluster. I mean, it bears being said, and it's just kind of the fact of the situation right now. Oblivion Force, they lack information. A lot of times, the way that they're trying to work themselves across the map, it's you're just peeking into it. You know, you might have some teammates around, you might have flashes in the Yoru, but again, that is it. If someone falls, if Mongols are playing like a one and done, they are constantly punishing them onto this.
True, and the fact that Oblivion Force aren't even jumping in with their utility makes it, or rather compounds the problem, but as soon as I say it, even when they jump into 1, 2, 3, it's just an absolute menace on this defense, and it's not allowing Oblivion Force to breathe at all.
And I have to say, this is a huge head scratcher. Oblivion Force were the ones who picked this map. For this first half to look this dominant for Mongols is not the scoreline you want to have. I can only imagine how it feels to be on OF's side. Certainly still trying to bring those comms up and online. They're back in towards the middle. Spotted out though. Rhea now flashing in. Kill contract robs a player away though, and now Rhea able to take the duel back. Nexi, however, will just even out the odds again.
One enemy
Oh,
remaining.
how even can they get? And I don't understand how MNP survives that, but I'll get a lot of support. The thing is, Mongols have rarely taken fights alone. You see the raw fundamentals at play, where it's always been a support system. It's not a piece of utility. It's been another live player right next to him. Case in point, MN Fear getting this fight alongside Nexi, who got that free frag there. Oblivion Force obviously have to go for this timeout. They just really don't want this to ramp up even more. A lot of words being exchanged, obviously for strategic reasons as well. Yeah, Rhea. He's been the only, like, or not only, but he is the lone shining star for now. Hopefully the rest of Oblivion Force can pick it up.
It's also like our hearts definitely go out to Oblivion Force every now and then. I mean, they have quite the registered roster, but not every player is able to not every player is able to participate sometimes due to like real life or personal commitments like that. That's just kind of the reality of the situation for these guys, given the region they're from. There's not a lot of support sometimes, so you always love to see them when they are here. And
oh yeah,
I think namely the player that I'm talking about is Chime. Like, he's meant to be, or at least according to our fact sheet, he's the coach slash substitute. If he's playing, it's not that, you know, someone's missing, right? So
True.
they're trying. Rhea definitely trying to call out as much as possible, but as you mentioned before, Raph, it's this ISO.
Oh boy, and they're flooding on to the side here, but Sky is Blue ready to hold the fort. Rhea with 12 gauge violence, ready to rip, but will bounce out after getting 2 kills. And still, this is not as free as they would want it to be. There is still a singular star here that could prove to be a problem later on. You know, Mongols are making a jog towards the opposite side.
Okay. Well, at least Oblivion Force are close enough to possibly get the spike down. Maybe
Oh, they hesitated.
get into range, but you're absolutely right, Raph. They hung too far back, and they were thinking of trying to clear out the side as much as possible. Now it comes down to the shots if Anson and Kipple can deliver. More swings coming out from Anson. Kipple will find his mark, just down to 119. Ooh, a little straight peek. It's a high-low setup. He does recover his name, but Anson sidesteps once more.
Last round before the split.
Oh my goodness, these series have not been good for my heart. So many moments where, like, if he won that out, that'd be absurd. Because I
Your
don't...
heart can withstand this, Raph. You got good cardio.
And I also drink a lot of caffeine.
Enemy remaining.
So
Okay.
that's a random fact of the day. And I love the respect that Mongols have for any opponent, really. They see that Oblivion Force are slowly getting some rounds their way. They will respond in kind by getting that support staff, that coach on board, ready to maybe iron it out. And, you know, I just kind of want to go back on that point earlier or the one you made about a lot of these players still do have outside responsibilities. And for them to show up in the server in officials is already daunting enough.
For real. But, like, mad respect for trying to keep the dream alive, you know?
Oh yeah, it's the soul.
It's always there. You gotta love it when these players wear their hearts in their sleeves. But, well, there's a little bit more support for the Mongol side. Coach Orgil right there, supporting the team. In that round, though, I gotta say, it was a really good call for Oblivion Force. They had that little exchange and then the quick rotation over. It did almost go south, but thankfully, Anson was there to pick things up.
Gotta go.
You know, that recovery is just so important here. Oblivion Force speeds it up just a little bit. And look how willing Mongols are when it comes to giving up these spaces on the map. They know that their comms aren't the most mobile, so they decide to play these distances where trades are just a little bit more possible. They are tanky, though. So that's the one thing going for this comp.
That was done, though, with the judge. Does he have the movement? So from before, what we were seeing from Oblivion Force is that they're trying to get information, find that contact, and possibly try to
the spike.
do like something like a pseudo trap play. Anson was far back. He had the grab well sucking in Nexi so that he couldn't perform. Things like that. This time, obviously, very different. And they are trying to find that information by jiggling, but it's not successful. And now they get surprised by an off.
Oh, and he's gonna tag that with a shield. And he still gets the shot. My goodness, Nexi. Sky is Blue's here to follow it up. Chime trying to salvage the situation, but it's all up to Anson. He's had a massive 3K in this very spot, but now everybody's ready for him. The cage is gonna disappear. No one-to-ones given. Will get the trade immediately. He's 119. And Mongols halt the advance at 3 rounds. And
was the timeout needed for that? I don't know.
I don't know, but hey, insurance is exactly what they needed. And you know, it goes back to that previous point you made. How can they peel away these... I don't know how to say it. Mongols are doing so well. I was about to say something clever, but there's just no going two ways about this, Quack.
No, there isn't. Well, actually, there is one thing that we can kind of consider for the second half, is the fact that it's Mongols on the attack with a hyper defensive composition. Right now, they are just looking to bully their way through. They've managed to find a trade, especially with 119 on the lurk around middle.
Oh, and losing Nexi. They're not going to have that shield. They're not going to have the undercut. But what they do have is presence with 119.
There.
It forces Oblivion Force back. Look at this. Majority of their forces have pulled back.
One guy, and he's able to buy so much attention away. Well, thankfully though, Anson thinks better, and he will regroup with Kippo. This would be a good stack. But oh my god, 119! He does it again. Marks his next target, but now the salvos will meet its mark. So a couple of burns against Kippo, but Kippo has done some damage as well. 1v2 possible for Rhea. Oh, he's got a good spot.
Sky's Blue and MNF are tagged up too, but doesn't look like oh my god, that timing is unfortunate, but surely that's audible from Rhea's position.
Look at his player cam though. He's locked in. Trying to look for the flicks. He's not gonna get them. They peaked at the same time, Raph.
Cowards, afraid of the 1v1. But no, that's actually what you're supposed to do, guys. Again, we like to joke around on the desk. That was one of the jokes. Double peek when you can double peek. You gotta play your numbers. I don't want to spread misinformation on the internet.
Last players.
That was the best line I've ever heard around.
What?
Flash placed.
I just have to put the disclaimer on, you know, so I can't be liable if our viewers are gonna 1v1 everything. You can still do that, just don't blame me.
Locating targets.
Oh, cowards afraid of them. Nice. Well,
I'm joking, by the way, guys.
in case my laugh hasn't sold the joke. Thank you for that. That was a really good laugh. But yeah, Mongols buying up. Okay. And look at how they're holding the angles now.
Again, Mongols and just the rest of our Mongolian representatives are just so confident with their aim. I've casted a bunch of their games now, and it's been pretty similar in how they want to approach these fights. It is, if I miss, I'm dead. But again, they position themselves so conservatively too, so they can just fall back. Very solid fundamentals across the board.
Yeah. A little bit of macro game as well. You know, not the meta you currently are used to, but look at that flick next
One
to
enemy remaining.
Punch down the next. He's got the shields. Doesn't matter if they're cracked. It's Utah left.
Spike planted.
Oh, he's got to run. Uh-oh.
Flawless.
Well,
The elbow.
again, whoever has ingrained these systems
Damn.
on the side of the Mongols should receive his flowers. His or her flowers.
Coach
And-
Orgil, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, sorry, I coughed there.
How
My
dare you
goodness.
cough, Raph?
I know.
How could you?
Flawless.
I
Bad
just don't-
L caster. You coughed on the mic.
My goodness, guys, avoid coughing because it could lead to choking. And this is
Oh my
something that
God.
Mongols are really avoiding right now. But the thing is, too, you talk about their macro play. That was something that we were kind of talking about, that they should be a bit more creative with their play because, for the most part, it was looking thin, especially in the previous splits. I'm not entirely sure how they've developed here, but they're playing their game really well.
Yeah, I have to agree. It's not optimal. It's not meta. You don't see most teams doing this. Very few teams run a comp like this, or even, you know, to work their way across the map like this. But the way that Mongols have engineered this together, it's not bad. I don't hate it. They're very slow and careful because they don't have that high mobility duelist, which makes sense. But what they do have is aim, force in numbers, and because they've got this ISO, they're able to like face check and push in together with numbers, and it really bullies Oblivion Force. I mean, look at how much space OF have fallen back to just because they can't take these duels head on. Like right there, it's a 2-on-1.
And it does allow for the conversation that, do you go for a forced meta comp or something that you're incredibly comfortable with, but it is looking mighty uncomfortable for the rest of the defenders here on towards A. As next, he's going to be using that shield to 100% success. Hansen gets another multi-kill here.
Spike planted.
No, Mongols. They completely
Hold up.
sold that pick.
You gotta look at Sky's Blue. He's got a great angle.
Oh,
Misses the shot though. It is an outlaw.
oh, he's still trying for
One
it.
shot. could kill any of these players. He still can fall back and have enough time to reload.
He does. But now Mongols have set up for the longer angle here. Playing off 1, 2, 3 and the Guardian. Oh, this guy's blue. Oh no, dude. That is so unlucky by for Anson here. Perfectly well read by Sky is blue. And this 2v1 is just not going the way of Chime, whether it's by time.
Last words.
And that's hard to watch.
Point.
Feels bad, yeah. And map point.
Been a dominant showing here
I got
for.
One enemy remaining.
Okay.
Oh,
After we've shot that ngayon.
seems like
Well,
it's
I
another
wish
day
I
in the
could
office.
understand it. I would buy it if you told me that that was exactly what he said. I would listen to you.
Really, after I said the 1v1 bit, do reconsider.
Crap, you're fine. You're fine. I'm sure people are. Well, they have enough IQ to understand it. But that said, it is map point. Bai is not on the side of Oblivion Force. They have some weaker guns. Still trying though. And right now, well placed shot against Sky is blue.
Sky's blue also has a really mean clove, so that might come into play later on. But 1, 2, 3, sharp as ever gets 1. No 2, no 3. Rhea with the trade. 3v4 though. So still looking good for Oblivion Force.
I love that name, man.
It is so good, dude.
It's healthy
One-
count number kills me.
target is stuck.
No
It's
4.
great.
You're doomed if you get 4. Get 3, that's it. And now ISO, it's doing its thing. Nexi,
30
let's go.
seconds left.
He's got the ult as well, which could give his team,
Spike
better
planted.
odds if it comes to a retake.
It's you
Look at
and
this as
me.
well. M and Fear off to a huge lurk. Kill contract, and it just. Oh, he bought the clone. Uh-oh.
Highlight.
As soon as he gets out of that, that's a free kill for OF. And Menfear just got to time this lurk well.
Bye-bye.
Oh my goodness.
Put down my ultimate.
That's the first time I've seen that happen in an official, and they try to triple swing him, but no.
Attackers win.
And Fear holds his ground and turrets it away.
Like, I don't know, patch 9 or patch, I don't know, something. Whatever the number is, you know what I'm saying. It's the Gen G
Yeah.
comp, honestly. That's kind of the thing that strikes me for now for Mongols. It's that comp versus something slightly more modern on the side of OF, but it's also not the easiest thing to execute. Rhea has to be sharp on this Yoru, and also for, the rest of the team to be there with him.
That is true. This is really close to what Gen G used to run. I think I kind of prefer the one with T1 used to run with the Chamber. I absolutely love playing Chamber. He's great. I think he's a treat every time we see him in pro play. But like you said, how are Mongols going to win over against this modern comp? But Rhea already getting that one onto 1, 2, 3. Mongols already starting off with a deficit.
Yeah, he was just
Planted.
kind of open. There was only one player here, so Rhea able to break all of it down, but you still got Nexi is able to find a trade right back in. Now the tap from 119. Swaps and knows that it was a fake. Confidence on that. Utah, though, tries to rush in, but the footsteps completely heard, and that's going to be the defuse for Mongols.
It is really, really nice to see how in sync the Mongols are. If we get a replay on that, on how
They will scurry.
quickly they turned around and reacted to the footsteps at the same time. By the way, look at this.
Yeah.
If we get a preview, I'd be really happy. But I think this is just a distraction.
remaining.
There's a walk up. See, look at that. Come on, dude. That's not
So
fair.
insane. Yo, what's their human benchmark? What's their reaction time? it's got to be like 200 something. I don't
This is
know.
my spot.
But
Probably lower, like
that-
150
Yo.
something. Lower is better.
Actually, maybe.
Lower is better for benchmarks.
Yeah, no, but like 150 is insane, man.
Yeah.
If they probably would have that insane reaction time. Yeah.
I don't want to flex.
Okay, Raph.
But
Well, Mongols will flex for you right now.
I didn't say anything else. I just don't want to flex. And now Mongols also planting a lot of seeds of discord here. They have a great crossfire regardless of what's going to happen. But if they walk out that poison orb, it'll be a disaster for Oblivion Force.
Yeah, you can't walk out without some util layered in. But it's going to be the smoke that dissipates, and then the firing squad from Mongols collecting all of those skulls.
Their heart rate just
Oh
went
my
up.
goodness, more for the throne. And the Mongols just absolutely in control. I love that spray. My goodness, I wish I had that spray. You know, while we're here, we're gonna go on a bonus round where I fully expect to be cookie cutter.
Okay.
I love the new flex items. I'm really sad I didn't get the stress ball. I hope we get more of those. Please. I'm gonna cry.
You can bet there are going to be more to come, probably. But for now, we'll see if Oblivion Force can get some more for this upcoming round. They need it.
They need it. That is a good way to put it, in an honest way of trying to get themselves going. But Mongols, man, they're still trying to throw a bunch of curveballs towards Oblivion Force. They do get punished, and look how quickly they recede back onto the side. That is a hard read, but obviously a little bit of a mistranslation there. Oh wait, no, there's not. Look, Oblivion Force are moving their way back to C. That's crazy.
Well, even if they do move back, just the fact that they have all 5 players here. It was a bit of a... Well, is it a blunder? You know, they were trying to go for a read. They sent out the flash from MN but you didn't have information beforehand, and OF were just waiting on the other side, so... Good punish from OF. Now you got Dimensional Drift. You clear out the entire site. Just gotta watch out for calls.
Spike planted.
That they do, and now this is gonna be a bit of a meat grinder for Mongols if they choose to walk through it. But this round is pretty much done and dusted. They have 2 bulldogs. I don't even think this is worth saving at this point, unless they're really like
Enemy remaining. Flawless.
going for a budget thing. But no, it's Kippo spraying them down. And like I said, cookie cutter bonus round. Oblivion Force, so great that they're retaliating early. They just really don't want a repeat of that gigantic lead from Pearl.
Yeah, it's a good way to recognize. And I think at this point, this is where Mongols need to start to recognize that they can't just like throw these set pieces out there willy-nilly. You gotta kind of... It might be the Gen G comp, right? But you're not, you're not Gen G, so trying to figure out their own way of piloting this. They got just the lone cipher anchoring down the C site.
Are you telling me I'm not texture when I play Jet? You're absolutely right.
No, you're Raph.
Oh.
Always be
Hey.
yourself, whoever's listening out there. That's
I
not a
love
bad
that.
thing.
That's wholesome. That's wholesome. You are the player you're meant to be. Wow.
You can do things that texture can't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah.
I wonder what those are. But while we are in deep thought, this game has slowed down, so perhaps the players are on the same page here. Oblivion Force, I think they're doing a good job of trying to get Mongols to overreact and, you know, kind of get that compactness as a disadvantage more than anything. But they will run into a stack still.
But Rhea, though, to be able to break past the C's in with the gate crash, that's going to be a great kill, and now the site broken open.
Oh boy, this is going to be a lot to fix for Mongols, but hey, they do dissuade Chime from fully committing to the plant. Will take a little bit of spam, but it's actually Kippo getting the brunt of that spray. What?
So no more smokes to hold. Just comes down to the anchoring individually. MN Fear can play spoiler as well if he pushes out from the door. He's got the flash. He's just not sure enough. Waiting for contact from his teammates who unfortunately fall. So MN Fear, as soon as the door swings open, he is getting shot.
Definitely not a way to go out, but Oblivion Force have done so well to equalize this. As you mentioned, statistically, this is not a strong point for Mongols. They've been incredibly shaky on this map, and it looks like Oblivion Force are taking full advantage of it. Now, they are getting a few words out of their coach here.
Yeah,
I have
like
to say,
more than a few.
that's a lot. That's at least like 10. But, you know, if we look at the disparity between these comps, what Teho does bring to the table, as well as Vice, it's just how oppressive this configuration is. I mean, the Thorns are there. Teho in general is there. You dominate and displace so many areas of the map that it is so annoying to deal with.
It is. I think you really nailed it right there, because you saw how Rio was able to break past. Like, the C's, I thought, would have completely stopped OF and forced them to reset. But it didn't, because Rhea sidestepped it and then, you know, bypassed it by teleporting into the site. And it's things like that that Mongols need to really be aware of. And I imagine that's kind of some of the stuff that the coach Orgil is discussing with them, because they're starting to, you know, walk away with these rounds. They're starting to throw some advantages as well, especially with the one where they had just a set piece that they just wanted to execute.
Because I just realized too, even if you get a massive like scan from Nexi, even if you get like a huge nightfall, it's not gonna matter if you keep getting hammered by the salvos, the razor vines, and just breach. Flashes Rayoru could be a problem too, but now with them firmly planted on the side, Mongols have a tall order in retaking this with 5 sheriffs. Oh.
Yeah. Well, near sight, Chime will still be able to fight back, but not a bad shot from Sky is blue. So now both players from Mongols trying to stutter step to find a shot. Not going to find it though. These corners are wall bangable. Now Chime in with a classic. Oh, right click's not quite there. Anson will trade. It still is quite a bit of damage, isn't it, Raph?
It
119.
Really is.
Still peeking, but Rhea, the more experienced player on the side of Oblivion Force, will take him down with ease.
Especially with the Vandal in hand. Now, Anson getting a few kills actually gave him that Rolling Thunder. So, now actually, well, no, he's had it, but hey, at least that's something to use in the coming rounds. Mongols, they have equalized their economy. They still have that neural theft, which has not been all that impactful for, you know, the entirety of this night. But, you know, just not from the series alone, just from the entire night. The Cypher pick has just not been there, in my opinion. Hey, it's still early on Lotus. Everybody has a chance to get themselves going here.
Yeah, for now. I mean, the whole intention of having a Cypher, right, in 119, he's got to have these trips to kind of counter where Rhea could potentially advance into.
Mm-hmm.
But Rhea,
going out.
we'll see how strong his Yoru is as well. I mean, he's managed to kind of break past it sometimes. Now you've got the potential execute going in. Armageddon to flush them out.
Uh-oh. Huh. I thought 119 would have been toast there, but no.
You hide.
It's him
Don't worry.
doing the toasting. Mongols getting all these kills from the beyond. No vision, no problem. They could potentially find another one here. Oblivion Force, they're hobbling. They're one rocket away. And Sky is Blue will help the entire team take one apiece. Great recovery by the Mongols.
Off the timeout as well. You've gotta love these rounds where they're able to come in with such cohesion. I mean, the trips, right? Yeah, you still see Rhea kind of evading most of them just because he gate crashes right, you know, around them, not directly on them, which is just such a... It really shows you how good of a Yoru he is. But even with that, even with all the utility coming in, they didn't anticipate one of the... You know, the first trip, the one that's placed closer to the mouth of the site, and that allows for 119 to get that first trip kill, and then you got the rest of the team coming in as well. So good retakes from Mongols. Showstopper from Sky is Blue too.
I feel like the assessment for this comp on the side of Mongols is that both these versions, right? Both these meta comps are good at the same thing. Except the Teho, the Vice is just way more oppressive. They cover way more space, as we mentioned, whereas you can dodge the tripwires. You can dodge the Viper Wall to some extent. Fade Prowler is just not what it used to be. Haunt is just not as aggressive and as just powerful as it once was, but it's not to say that it's still not effective. There's just more room to avoid it.
Definitely still workable, you know? Everyone's got their responsibility right now, and at least for M and Fear's case, trying to flush them off from this tree position. The paranoia fully connects. He does swap out to the shorty, but unfortunately gunned down by Anson. Great flash dodge, but Anson still strikes fear into the hearts of the Mongols players. Now Rhea, all of a sudden TP slid back. Nexi though, up by drop, will deny that spike. 2v1. Can Utah deliver? He does strike the first one down.
Oh, but that's completely given away. Nexi not thinking, not overthinking this. The door made a sound. I'm gonna look at the door.
Yo, you know who's not thinking? Utah, what are you doing? What?
Maybe he went for the no mix-up, you know, like, oh, he's gonna think this is gonna be a fake.
For viewers who don't know FGC terms, could you explain
yeah,
what
so
that is?
What a no mix-up is. Imagine you got rushed twice in a row in Valorant. There's no way they rush you a third time in a row, right? Well, they did, and you fell for it. That is what it is exactly in Valorant terms.
But
and so I appreciate it.
True, but Mongols didn't fall for it. That's the main thing. So we gotta see how this one works out for now. I mean, Seaside has been the most successful site for OF so far just because of Rhea and his entries. But we also do have 119 trying to adjust around some of these gate crashes. And look at the position now. You got 1-2-3 anchoring alongside him. The snake bite to stall the rest of the Oblivion Force players.
And good thing that didn't suppress the trap wires, but this is going to be a full-on explode. 1-2-3 gets a little bit of damage, but can't confirm. Oblivion Force trying to run it down with the Vandos, and they're looking mighty healthy. Sky is Blue and MN Fear looking as sharp as ever with these replies, but how long can they keep this up with a disadvantage?
Not too bad for now. We'll see. Rhea is relatively low, so susceptible to potential spams. Sky's Blue doesn't have paint shells, but has the boom bot, so could clear potential corners with it. Oh, but look at that from Utah. Swings out from the smoke at the right time. Just nails all of them as he tried to exit from Waterfall. That was the key moment right there.
Utah's been on fire with these spray transfers. I think he's had like 3 tonight. 2 on this map. And he's also had a bunch of... Wait, no, it was Rhea getting a bunch of multi-kills on Pearl. But this is turning out to be incredibly competitive. Still wondering if it's a byproduct of the comp choice by Mongols, or Oblivion Force really turning up the heat. It could be a result of both, to be honest with you. And now MN Fear with that lone sheriff. This should dampen the aggression on Mongol side and give Oblivion Force a little bit more room to work with.
Could be. I mean, okay, so again, the whole thing about this composition that Mongols have, you want the ultimate map control with it. That's why you have a Viper. That's why you have, you know, an Omen and the Cypher. But if all of that gets broken because Oblivion Force have things like the Teho, the Yoru, then it becomes a little bit weaker. That's why you have 3 stack on the C side right now. Information gain on the other side with the Prowler as well, but now, oh, okay. Getting a little bit antsy. Sky is Blue, MN Fear beginning to peak, but they will take down Utah. Lots of information now.
Now, I was really curious if Mongols was going to continue with that pressure where they try to do that boxing, that box-in action. Oblivion Force will commit to the C-hit here. 119, undiscovered. 1-2-3 gets 1. But now, Death from Above can only claim one. The rest of the Mongols flood onto the efforts of Oblivion Force. They got stuck on that little L section on the stairs there. And I can't believe they were so aggressive to pounce on it too.
Yeah, honestly, that was pretty sick movements and individual decision making from 119. Look at that. The key difference here, I think, before I let you go, Raph, it's 123 playing further back safe. He had the snake bite at the right time, and he wasn't trying to position himself into the corner. I think that gave it a different dimension.
Remember, guys, it's a strat if more than one person does it. If only one person does it, it's a feat. That's just the law of the land. You have to do it together. You gotta commit to the bit. And
facts.
Because imagine if it was just one person jumping into that, then he gets traded out. And then Oblivion Force gets the site, right? But now, they change up the tempo again. They still try to leverage their way through rubble. And we'll get contested by the smoke.
Yeah, this is the first time they've been running this. It's been 4-1 so far, heavier towards the seaside. This is 1-1-3 now, and then to regroup around rubble. And then Fear, he's held this position before with a flash, but this time it doesn't meet anyone. Oblivion Force staggering their approach.
They're trying. I mean, they've been getting swept when they were going 5 strong, so maybe they'll try and poke this away. But Mongols have other ideas in mind. Huh?
Spike
Although,
planted.
ooh, look at that! Shorty 1-and-1 position into a push. I got Rhea and the rest desperately trying to hold the site from tree. They do have the spike, which is great. Oh, the double peek as well, taking down Sky's Blue. All then pinged out by the mural theft, and then the Viper spin into play. Not too bad if they can all spam through. Just Anson now. And he's far apart. Looks to get the spam onto the spike, but so far it eludes him, and 1-2-3 to swing off contact.
If only he knew how close he was. Could have been a possible round, but either way, this is a great effort on the side of Oblivion Force, but the Mongols are slowly pulling away as we get into the later rounds of this first half. I'm really curious
One enemy remaining.
why they decided to go for a pre-aim towards vent, but then again, the Mongols have been putting a lot of presence there. So, you know, a lot of decisions have to be made. I think that's also one thing people fail to realize. Oh, why is he looking that way? There's so many angles to clear in pro play. It's ridiculous. You'll never know who decides to off time.
Possibly, yeah. So some of these considerations possibly working against OF right now, and they don't have the best economy. We are nearing the end of the first half. Mongols somewhat in control, especially with these stronger retakes. Information now, though, for 119. Tries to anchor around his own cage. Trip as well supporting, but unfortunately, 119 falls to Kippo. Kippo continuing with the onslaught, finds another frag. That's a rifle picked up. Possibly another one for Rhea as well, as he hops over onto his opponent's corpse. Dimensional drift to push his opponents back as well. This is a pretty strong and triumphant round for Oblivion Force.
It is, but there have been a few luxuries being paid there. One being the dimensional drift. Utah with the steel garden, but hey, if it converts into a round, why not? Utah can't confirm a target. My goodness, there's no way this falls apart. As Rhea will put the final nail in the coffin for round number 11. Oblivion Force looking to tie this up, Quack.
Dude, Rhea has a really strong back. I'm sorry, just that doesn't paint the rest of his team in a good light. That's not my intention. Rhea is a really strong individual player, is what I'm trying to say. I mean, look at his movements here. First of all, the way they broke things open was already great. Like, that was teamwork right there into the C site. A lot of it, again, is still at the hands of Rhea because of his flashes, the gate crashes, and everything. But then for the dimensional drift to go through, he gets information, he wraps around behind, and then to sneak up as his opponents teleport in. That's crazy. Last round now, the first half, and you still gotta watch out for how Rhea might play.
Again, I can only imagine how this map would unfold if everybody had the same amount of volume as Rhea. But Mongols, man, they're making this as difficult as possible, but the man of the hour chimes in.
That's what he do. I mean, Gen G, oftentimes they would have the Viper closer around the A side or something instead, but it's just M and Fear then to play around his flashes. I'm not sure if the Prowler cleared Pillar either, so Sky is Blue. A little bit risky, but if he times it right, that could be a huge showstopper play. And if Fear has to anchor to buy time.
Oh, but
One
look at
enemy
that.
remaining. Spike down
Look
A.
at that. You know what they say? Father Time is undefeated, especially with M and Fear going with the
Switching
assist.
sides.
3 for him. Mongo still managed to take this. Oblivion Force, as they look to seal the deal and potentially get a clean 2. Oblivion Force, they've had some pretty clean rounds though. Hopefully, they're still in this.
Very well could be. Aggressive take outside mound. I believe it's the ward picked up by Rhea, who has been the star player for the OF side.
Oh man. And I find this setup interesting. This seems like a really active setup towards C. Both of the fighting utility, or majority of their fighting utility going that way. But I don't know if this is taking into account that Mongols are just gonna explode off the smoke. Waiting for the sound cues.
I think it does. I mean, look at that. You have both Omen as well as Breach closer to the C set. That completely stalls the approach. First you have a flash, then you have a fault line, but you also have Nexi to fight back. He just finds the shots. It's a shooting game at the end of the day, and that's how Mongols play.
I'm in fear.
enemy
No,
remaining.
it's an if they're executing them at this point. There's just so much misdirection in that singular round. It looked so good for Oblivion Force. They got a honeypotted. They got their hands stuck in the jar. Yes.
You are 100% correct. We gotta see how
One enemy
Mongo
remaining.
gets. But Nexi, majority of the kills collected on this round, and I imagine it happens because Oblivion Force got a little bit eager. They saw that they had the stuns. They thought that they could continue pushing up, racking kills, but Nexi was there.
You could do so many things right and have one wrong moment and it all come crashing down apparently. And with the superior weaponry, Mongols look to be the aggressor in the situation. Ooh! It did look like there was a haircut to be had, but nope. It's a trim.
One enemy remaining.
Oh, that's gonna be a haircut and more, Raph. I just can't. I almost called you SR. Sorry.
It's
I
okay.
can't believe that happened.
I nearly called you Dax
Accident.
earlier too. It's okay.
It's so-
The quack.
Dude, it's awesome. And this is our first time casting together.
That's
Lovely.
true.
First time Anson finds a kill in this half as well. I don't know, actually. I'm just throwing that out there. He's going to send out the stun to try to help him in this fight against Nexi, but to no avail.
I don't doubt you whatsoever. If you say that's his first kill of the year, I will believe you. But
Oh, God.
it
He's
is
not
really
too bad.
crazy.
10-12.
I will like. Oh, I like that little zoom in. Thank you, Prod. That is crazy.
That's actually a really cool new thing that they're starting to do.
I know. And again, every year Prod levels up. We get all these really cool
Props.
bits. Really, and just to go back, we've known each other for literal years at this point, and it's crazy to me
True.
that this is the first time we've casted together.
Oh, well, we can only hope that OF levels up as well. Anson able to trade. But what is he doing? Continuing to reposition, unaware that 123 has snuck in. Walks away for free with that kill. Utah over onto the C site, however, still anchoring.
I wonder if they're gonna try and pivot for another like B hit, because that's been the protocol so far. If A and C seem too occupied, they'll try and stand their ground towards B. And I think there is a small read here by Kippo to just be the early warning system. A looks to be the play. Next he's gonna go out hunting here.
Yeah, good check with the Prowler, but you're absolutely right. Early warning
Last
system
player
tripped,
standing.
but also unfortunately not quite effective.
Find you.
So that's all kills now, and with that kill on towards, was it Anson or Kippo as well? Oh, no, not Kippo. The one around tree, excuse me. That just gave them so much information. That's a full site.
Spike planted.
It was Anson, and
Thank you.
Utah looking to get into the heart of the site. Doesn't have an arc rose here, but that's gonna have a lot of wind up. Exposes barrel, and the one thing that, or one of the things that's so difficult when you're facing the Mongols, they will face check you, but it's so hard to face check them back.
I can't deny that. They have been really good on a lot of these 1v1s. And that's just how strong some of these Mongols players can be. And right now, they're recognizing what they need to do, how they need to adjust around OF as well. Their attacking sides have been quite pristine. OF, on the other hand, I imagine this comp can help and retake somewhat, but they're so eager to go for early map control that they often come into these rounds with a disadvantage. Look at this, 4v5 right now.
Face your fear.
It's been a measured gamble for them when it comes to that, but it is so quick to snowball into something like this, and hopefully it doesn't get too out of control. But it's already
Spike planted.
gone up to that point. You know, Mongols have taken 5-6 rounds in a row. Oblivion Force, hopefully they haven't hit critical mass here. Or rather, Mongols, hopefully they haven't hit critical mass here that Oblivion Force can't retaliate.
I fear that they might have Raph. It is 11-5. If OF doesn't buy up at this point, then it's just map point all the way throughout. Well, series point also. One consolation prize that we can say for OF is the fact that Anson as well as Rhea are really close to their ultimates, and they have been key players so far in this map. Oh, rubble fight.
A classic for this map. Sky is blue. Only facts. You can look up and you know his name to be true. Mongols get another round on the board, and suddenly we are at map point. Series point, by the way. Oblivion Force, they look so good. But what happened? Did the playbook run out?
I don't think so. It's tough to say for sure, right? You know, we're not in the server with them. We're not, practicing with them. They had an idea there, but the execution got completely foiled by Mongols because they recognized, like, this is how Rio wants to fight. He's already deep in the position. We heard the gate crash, and Sky's was able to take those fights right back. Another rumble duel, and the hate shells plus the C's does connect.
He went up. He went for another frag there, and gets one with a throwable. 1-2-3 has been using that Amber way too many times. And hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, apparently. They levered their way onto an already tender Oblivion Force. This is looking brutal with 1-2-3 getting the accursed